Hello. Rarely am I a few minutes late, but I am certainly a few minutes late today. I got so thirsty before I started the show. I thought I gotta go get some Perrier and put some water in my mouth before I start. So hello everybody, it's Tuesday, it's Happy Tuesday, and we are all starting to think about the big game day coming up. And today I sat down with my dear friend and we started putting a great menu together for Sunday. But as you know, I built a fabulous outdoor kitchen, and my designer who assisted me in the building of that kitchen, hey Teresa, he and I dreamt about putting this day, this big Super Bowl day together, and he and I cooking together for the very first time. So he came over today so that we could plan the menu, and it starts with Townline, the very famous Townline barbecue sauce. So I'm going to tell you that this recipe, I am not going to change a thing. I will post this recipe as it was written by, let me tell you the owner's name, Joseph Realmuto. Joseph Realmuto from Townline Barbecue Restaurant, somewhere in the Hampton area. I guess it's East Hampton. I'll look that up and make sure I post it. Hey Sherry, how are you? Thanks for being here. We're making very famous, world famous Townline barbecue sauce. I saw this recipe on the Barefoot Contessa, and it looked absolutely divine. So a few years ago I made it, and it is truly the best barbecue sauce that I have ever seen. So we're gonna get started, but Nanny Bubby needs to plug in her burner here. So give me 1 second. Let me get this burner plugged in. Usually I have that done before, but okay, there we go. Back to square one. Okay, here we go. This starts with putting butter right into the pan. Of course, all Nanny Bubby's recipes start with butter of some kind, right? I love butter. We spread love like butter. And remember that butter is very healthy and good for you. Make sure you get grass-fed butter, and away we go. This calls for 1/4 pound of butter. So, you know, this is 8 ounces. So we're gonna put in about 4 tablespoons, which would be about 1/4 pound. So I'm cutting it here on the breadboard. There we go, about 1/4 pound of butter. Let me turn this on. So tell me, what are you doing for big game day? Do you have plans already? What exactly is it that you have planned? Tell us about it. What kind of foods do you have planned? So one of the things that I do is I try to match foods to the team. So I always want something representing, as an example, Kansas City. So I'm making Kansas City barbecue. That's why we're doing Townline barbecue sauce to go with that. And last year for the LA Rams, what I did is I ran out and got a dozen. I got more than a dozen. I think I got 2 dozen In-N-Out burgers because we were playing the LA Rams, and nothing speaks to LA better than In-N-Out burger. And I sliced them up in quarters so that they were like little sliders and French fries, and that's what I served for appetizer, was In-N-Out burgers, which was really fun. Nobody expected Nanny Bubby to come up with the In-N-Out burgers as an appetizer, but nonetheless I did, and everybody thought it was cute and had a good charge out of it. So this year I was really betwixt and between about what I would do for Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay speaks to seafood because it's on the Gulf Coast, on the west coast of Florida, right on the Gulf there. So of course seafood. So I thought a seafood paella would be fantastic. So I'm going to do a seafood paella. The paella that I'm making, let's see, Teresa says that her son-in-law is smoking meat for us. Oh my God, that sounds so amazing. So I need to ask your son-in-law to teach me a little bit about smoking, because my new barbecue did come with a smoker. I just don't know how to use it. So I would love a little bit of instruction on that. So, so my daughter is a vegetarian, and I always want to have things available for her to eat as well. So the seafood paella, whose recipe is from Ida Garden, actually has has chicken in it and kielbasa, but I knew that my daughter would not be able to eat it if that's what I did, so I'm replacing the chicken with scallops. which I think is similar in texture. And I'm also replacing the kielbasa with some chopped lumped lobster meat. So I think that'll be great. It's more of a salad. So I just want to show you, we're going to put in these onions. I'm just going to turn, well, I don't think I need to turn it down. I'm going to put in the onions, and I'm going to start sauteing them, as you can see. But before, I just want to give you a little hint on how to dice an onion, in case you may not know. Like, onions come pre-diced. I know that sounds funny to say, but onions have all these circles, and all you have to do is cut opposite the circles. So I'm just going to slice inward like this. Whoop, there goes my finger. So I've already put half this onion into the pot here, but if you can see, just making these slices on the horizontal, and then when you just slice down, there's the dices for you. Very easy, nothing to do, already cut. And then just a little bit of a slice this direction, and they're already easy dices. So look at that, so easy. You don't have to actually chop them as dices. They're just already, it's like as though they come pre-diced. You just might have a couple of extra chunks, and you just slice against them, and that's it. So onions into the pot at this point. I was checking that finger to see if I actually really did cut it, but I did not. That's the good news. Okay. So this will become translucent now, and into the pot, and a whole onion into this. Hello, Saeed and Nancy Cleveland. Thank you for being here. We're making Townline barbecue sauce, famous Townline barbecue sauce. I can tell you that if you follow this recipe to the exact T, you will have the best barbecue sauce you've ever had in your life. And I'm making Kansas City barbecue, but I'm using Townline Barbecue's East Hampton barbecue recipe, and I am not going to change a thing. So with that, I have these directions, and it says in a Dutch oven, heavily buttered, at medium heat, add the onion and cook for 5 minutes, and add the garlic and cook for an additional 5 minutes. Now let me talk to you about the garlic. Look at this garlic. This is a half of a cup of garlic. I can hardly believe it. And usually what I like to do with garlic is I like to mince it in the food processor, because you turn that food processor on, you drop down the cloves of garlic, it spins around, and it really minces right out. There was so much garlic, and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to mince all this garlic. I'm definitely getting out the food processor. But the truth was, I took another look at it and realized that the problem with chopping garlic when you've only got a couple of cloves is that it's so small, you really, your knife loses the traction that it needs to keep mincing it. Well, with all that garlic, which was really 2 full bulbs of garlic, there was so many cloves, I just took that knife and just hammered it right out, and it worked out beautifully. And so I didn't have to dirty the food processor. I used the knife, and it was just fantastic. And as you can see, right there, you see how beautifully minced it is. So I can't wait to, you could smell this onion and the butter. That alone gets you hungry. Nancy Cleveland and Saeed, what exactly are you guys cooking for the big game day? Will I get sued if I say Super Bowl here? I don't know. I have no idea. All right, so this is nice and soft. We've been cooking it for about 5 minutes. We're going to throw in the garlic, and then I'm going to talk to you about a few other things that we're putting into this sauce. So we are going to add fresh lemon, and we are going to use the zest of 2 full lemons. And the really exciting thing about these lemons is that these are the last. I have one more small little lemon on my lemon tree, but these are the last 2 lemons that came off of Nanny Bubby's lemon tree today. So I'm very excited to actually be using them in this recipe. So we're going to, these are already washed, and we are going to, just want to make sure I'm going in the right order here. Yep. 2 lemons zested. Hey, Jennifer Tuttle. I'm making Townline barbecue sauce, very famous Townline barbecue restaurant in East Hampton, for the Kansas City barbecue for a big game day. So if you're ready, we're going to start zesting this lemon right into, these are fresh Meyer lemons. Now remember, you can't first squeeze the lemon juice out and then zest it, because if you do, it's very hard to get the zest of that skin out. So what you want to do is always zest the lemons before you squeeze out the juice. So that's what I'm going to do here, while at the same time, look at all that luscious smoke coming out of there from the butter. Keep it going. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. There we go. Turning that all the way down. You can smell the lemon, and you see all this coming out. Isn't that fantastic? Oh, the smells are heavenly. And the garlic, I can promise you in a few minutes somebody's going to be walking down from upstairs and asking what's for dinner. And sadly, he's going to find out it's not till Sunday. We're just pre-making the barbecue sauce. The great thing about this is that barbecue sauce keeps beautifully in the refrigerator. Will keep beautifully until Sunday. If whatever I have left over, I'll freeze for use. But of course, we're probably going to start cooking with it on Friday and Saturday. So I think Tuesday is a great day to get everything started. And tomorrow, I am going to take the Tuscan kale out of my garden, and I'm going to make Tuscan kale chips. So easy to make. It'll be so fun. So I hope that you join us there for tomorrow. Mixing this up, and then I'm going to show you a nice handy little trick of getting lemon juice into whatever you're making without getting seeds, which is always an issue. It's like you want to squeeze it right over what you're making, but you're always worried you're going to get seeds in there. So I kind of have a little hack for that. There we go. You see how beautiful that is? Look at this coming. Still, the lemon leaves are on there. I just love that. I didn't cut them off. Of course, if you do have lemon or any kind of citrus trees that you work with, remember, don't pull them off the vine. That's not the way that is best for the lemon. You always want to clip it and take it off with just a little lemon leaf. And that is the best way to pick your citrus. I have come to find out. I learn as I go too. So many people have said that they're just so frustrated with the planting of what they planted. Hi, Elaine Silverman. How are you? So good that you're here. Thank you for joining us. We're making Townline BBQ sauce for Big Game Day. And I am just zesting these lemons right now. Takes a while. Building my muscles, right? Okay. Let me get the rest of the zest, which there's quite a lot that accumulates in here. I love that you guys all join me every day. It means so much, just because we're all so isolated right now, and this has been a refuge for so many people who come in and join, and at least at 3 o'clock every day, we have each other, we share recipes. I'll remind you to go to Gather with Nanny Bubby on Facebook. It's the Facebook group, and you can post anything that you might be making that we've talked about through the weeks. You can ask a question if you're trying to find something that you don't know how to use or where you can find it. I mean, everybody that is in that group is just so warm and wonderful and so happy to help. So here's my hack as I stretch on out. Hold on 1 minute here. Let me get this a little bit closer. Sorry about that, you know, cameraman, cook. Okay, here we go. All right, let's just move this slightly. Oh my gosh, sorry about that. My camera got loose, so hold on, there we go. Okay, so what we need are 5 tablespoons, which is about 3.5 ounces of lemon juice. Let me just check that. Yes, 5 tablespoons of freshly squeezed. So what we're going to do is we are going to slice it, and I have a little strainer here. I'm going to set that strainer right on top of here. And then what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to start with this. Have you seen any of these before? You take the lemon, you put it in here, you take this, and I am going to squeeze this right through there. There we go. Right in my eye. Did you see that? Wow, that hurts. Okay. Don't do that at home. That was a big squirt, and it went right in my eye. I think I need a paper towel. Will you excuse me 1 moment, please? Oh my gosh, hold on. Oh boy, of all the things. This is what happens when you do things live, everybody. You never know what's going to happen. So, okay, hopefully I don't burn myself to death with that acid from the lemon. Now look at all those seeds. Can you see that? They stayed right here on the lemon. And even if sometimes they do sneak through, so when they do, I love having the strainer on top because it keeps everything from coming out. So let me twist this off now. And into the squeezer we go. Shall I turn my head this time? Get this little strainer on top. Okay, look out. There we go. All right. Squeezing that all out. Okay. 2 ounces. There we go. Okay, not so bad this time. I'm still feeling a little lemon acid in my eye. Okay. 1 more. So what is your favorite meal? Tell me that. Do you have a favorite meal that you do for game day that you always like? Is it pizza? What is it? You know, is it easy or is it fun? Is it just, you know, different things each time? I will always do something that deals with the teams and then deals with the personalities of the people that are coming. So my daughter is a vegetarian, so I'm always very, very you know, careful that I have lots of stuff that doesn't have meat or chicken in it so that she can enjoy it. And I make substitutions all the time. And then I try to match those substitutions to the teams. So just not sure what you guys like, but just type in the chat. Who is Heather? Hey Heather, there she is. How are you? Thanks for being here. Okay, so we need 5 tablespoons of lemon juice, which is about, I would say, let's see, that it's about 3 ounces. So we're going to just pour this lemon juice right in. Okay. 3 ounces, let's see, 1, 2, yep, about 3 ounces. So it's 2 tablespoons an ounce, so we have about 6 ounces in here, or 6 tablespoons as opposed to 3, and that looks fantastic. So our next ingredient is about 4 1/4 cups of ketchup, and so I really have to say, what great barbecue sauce does not start with ketchup? They almost all do, right? And this is no less. And I was really surprised. I was actually impressed that this very famous restaurant was giving out their recipe and that it was actually starting with 4 1/2, there's 1, cups of good tomato ketchup. 2, I think I'm going to get 4 right out of this. And then we'll have another 1/2 cup from the other. There we go. You see that? You can. Okay, and another 1/2 cup from the other tomato ketchup. Let me just grab that. I thought I might have enough. You know, sometimes, even though it said 32 ounces, which is clearly 4 cups, sometimes the way that they measure on the jars is more about weight and not about measure. But this was spot on. It was exactly 4 cups. So let me go grab 1 more. Here we go. So how many of you downloaded your Happy Spice cabinet? How many of you got that downloaded, and how many of you downloaded it? And I hope you're enjoying it. And the next in the series is going to be the Happy Fridge. And so we threw this out there the other day, like, what do you have to have in your fridge in order for it to be the perfect fridge for you? And so many people said so many different things. So butter, eggs, I put my Worcestershire sauce, my ketchup, my mustard also in the fridge. Anybody else have suggestions about what you absolutely have to have in your fridge for it to be a happy fridge? Sauerkraut. I love sauerkraut in my fridge. Love to eat sauerkraut. So let me just show you just a close-up of how fabulous that looks. You see that? Isn't that amazing? So now you can smell the onions and the ketchup are all starting to meld together. And our next thing is probably the brown sugar. Well, actually, the next thing is a cup of tomato juice. So let me just tell you, soy sauce, that's a great one, Teresa. Soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce. What else in your fridge? You know, I always say that because a lot of us live in the Southwest, we actually have to put things in our fridge that other people in a cooler climate, up north as an example, would never think of putting in their fridge. They put it just on their pantry shelf. This is hard to open. Let me show you my hack for that. But my husband, today, I was in a panic and realized that yesterday when I went shopping for this recipe, well, this isn't a hack at all because this is too big for me to open. No hack here. There we go. I guess I loosened it. Okay. So I was downstairs here and I was getting prepped for today, for the live, and I looked up and realized that I had forgotten to get tomato juice, and I panicked, so I went upstairs and said, Tom, I need you to do me a favor, please. I need you to run to the grocery store. Smith's is right on the corner here. And I said, and get me tomato juice. Any kind of tomato juice will be fine. Find the best that you can, that looks good to you, but will you please go? Because if I had gone to get tomato juice, you'd still be waiting for me. Jennifer Tuttle, champagne mustard. Well, that's a good one. That's a great one. Soy sauce, champagne mustard, Worcestershire sauce. So I'm going to measure in a called for 1 cup of tomato juice. And this is 6 ounces. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this up to the 6 ounces. I don't know where my 1 cup measuring cup is. And into the sauce it goes. And then we're going to put in another 2 ounces to make it a full 8 ounces. And I will tell you, I very much appreciate Tom Letitia running to the grocery store for me at the very last minute. How do you like that? So grateful for that move. He was so sweet about it too. I love that. What could he say? Gotta help a girl out. Okay. So now we've got a lot of acid in here with the tomato juice, which is great. But the way that we're going to cut that is we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. And this is light brown sugar, but if you have dark brown sugar, and it's always best to use it up, because whatever you have, because it gets hard so quickly and you end up throwing it out. So whether it's light or whether it's dark, in my mind, it just doesn't matter. Just put it in, use up what you've got. Otherwise, it gets hard and you can't use it anyway. And I don't know why that is, and I don't know why they can't put it in a package that keeps it from getting hard. So, okay, there we go. There is the brown sugar. Now this is starting to thicken. Can you see that? It's just beautiful. It's really starting to thicken up, and it's starting to smell just absolutely luscious. So let's see, what is our next? So here is another something that really, really makes this fantastic. Look at this. I think this is what makes the recipe. It's organic molasses. So how much is it called for? 6 tablespoons, which is 3 ounces. This definitely needs a hack. Let's see if I can get this done. This hasn't been open in a while. So, there you go. See that nutcracker? And off it comes. All right, that worked that time because it wasn't too big. And what we have are 6 tablespoons, which is 3 ounces. So here's our little liquid measure cup again that we just used for the tomato juice. And look at that beautiful, let me move my hand so you can see, beautiful rich molasses. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Yep, exactly 3 ounces, maybe a little drop more. A little extra molasses never hurt anybody, I say. Okay, there we go. And into the pot we go. Let me just move you around here. Okay, anybody else have any other happy fridge hacks? How about salted butter or unsalted butter, or both? What's your feeling on that? So I was speaking to a girlfriend the other day. In fact, you all were watching Nancy Holla, and she said that she never has salted butter in her kitchen, only unsalted butter. And I couldn't believe it because I actually really use both. So as an example, in this recipe, let's see, both. There you go. Me too, Lisa. Me too with both. And the thing about it is that under most circumstances, a recipe like this called for 1/4 pound of butter. Now, it didn't say unsalted butter. It said salt, 1/4 pound of butter. So in my mind, when it says 1/4 pound of butter, and it's not specifying unsalted butter, then that tells me that you're using the salted butter, and that the salt and pepper that they are putting in, Sherry says unsalted. Okay, always unsalted, never salted. Well, I go with both. Sometimes I just feel like unsalted butter just doesn't have enough flavor. So if I'm buttering bread, which I rarely do, but if I am, like a piece of toast or a bagel, I always want salted butter because I like the salty flavor on the bread. However, if I'm eating lox in a bagel, I always put unsalted butter on because who needs more salt when you're also eating lox? When you're cooking, I don't mind using the unsalted butter because then you just get the rich fat. But when a recipe just calls for butter, to me that means salted butter. So that's what I would advise. If you're doing a recipe that calls for unsalted, use unsalted. If it calls for just butter, I think you're using regular. So after this, we're using 1/2 cup of Worcestershire sauce. So this little cup over here is getting a workout. Always shake your Worcestershire sauce, I say. And so does the bottle. Shake the bottle, it says. Shake the bottle well. And let's put in 1/2 cup. There we go. It's coming out nice and fast. That's good. There's several things that I find are very common in all barbecue sauces. One is Worcestershire sauce. One is ketchup. And the other is brown sugar. And those things seem to make every barbecue sauce just a little bit better. So there's our Worcestershire sauce. Am I saying that right? And that thinned it out just a little bit. Next, we are going to add white vinegar, believe it or not. So again, the lemon juice and the vinegar mixed with the molasses and with the brown sugar just really is the perfect blend of acid and fat. And I'm going to sneeze now from the Worcestershire sauce. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Oh my God. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm standing right over the pot and it went right up my nose. So let me just wash my hands very quickly. Sorry about that. Thank you very much. Did you all say God bless you or Gesundheit? I hope so. All right. Alive is alive is alive. So 4 tablespoons of white vinegar, which is 2 ounces. And there we go. Again, 2 tablespoons per ounce. Okay, go into the pot. So this is really starting to thicken up now. Now there's one thing that I forgot and one thing that I have that I need to drain, and I'm gonna have to do that likely off unless you guys have the time and you want me to do it here. So the one thing that I realized that I didn't have was chili powder. And I had in my pantry, in my spice cabinet, I had ancho chili powder and I had chipotle powder. And I thought to myself, I wonder if I can substitute. The fact is that this recipe is so perfect if you follow it to a T. Even though I thought maybe the chipotle powder with its very smoky flavor might be really good, I was concerned, truly concerned, about substituting anything. And when I looked up the ancho chili powder, what I learned is this is just ancho chili powder. Regular chili powder is a combination of many different chilies, onion powder, garlic powder, some red pepper. And so I think when something calls for chili powder, it's also meant because the recipe needs a combination of those flavors. So when I go out after the show, I'm going to stop and I am going to get chili powder at Williams-Sonoma because I bet that's absolutely the very best. So that's what I'm going to do about that. I'm not substituting because this recipe, I promise you, is so great. And then we're going to put in 1.5 tablespoons of chipotle puree. So hold on just a minute. I have chipotle powder, chilies in adobo sauce, which I did not pull out and I cannot find them again. Okay. Well, I don't know where they are. I think I left them in the pantry, unfortunately, and I'm sorry. Somehow my brain didn't see that at the bottom. But I buy chipotle chilies in adobo sauce, and when the recipe calls for it to be pureed, it just really means like putting it in your Vitamix or putting it in your food processor and swarming it around and getting it pureed and then putting it right in here. And I will tell you that the spice of the chipotle in adobo sauce placed into this sauce is just absolutely fantastic. So there are two things that I need to add into this after when I leave, and one is the chili powder, and it calls for a half of a cup of chili powder, so no substitutions there, and 1.5 tablespoons of the chipotle puree. So that's it. I'm very grateful for all of you to join me. Please do download your Happy Spice Cabinet. Go to nannybubby.com/spices and get your free download if you didn't already. Thank you for joining me. I'm wishing you a great day, and I'm wishing you great planning for your big game day. Send out an email, a newsletter today, and hope you got that, and hope that it just helps you plan or helps you have a good time on that day. So for now, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for joining me. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, go out and spread love like butter. Bye, everybody.